All right, close your eyes for a sec and picture this. It's the early 1950s. No smartphones, no Wi-Fi, no streaming. Just chunky computers humming in cold labs and a few wild geniuses wondering one huge thing. Can machine actually think? That single question launched a 75-year ride that would change how humans live, work, and dream. This is where it all starts. The birth of artificial intelligence. Meet Alan Turing, math legend, codebreaker, and the guy who basically built modern computing before anyone else saw it coming. In 1950, he drops a paper called Computing Machinery and Intelligence and asks, if a computer can fool a person into thinking it's human, doesn't that mean it's smart? Most people thought he'd lost it, but that one question became the foundation of AI, the Turing test, a simple idea that still defines what intelligent means in tech. Jump to 1956. Dartmouth College, New Hampshire. A small workshop gathers a handful of dreamers, John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, Claude Shannon, and a few others. They coin a brand new phrase, artificial intelligence. They honestly believe that if they work hard enough for one summer, they could make machines think. Spoiler, they couldn't. But that bold optimism set the tone for decades. The 1960s roll in, and suddenly AI is cool. Computers start playing checkers, solving algebra, even chatting, sort of. A program called Eliza pretends to be a therapist. People type in their feelings, and the program answers with questions like, how does that make you feel? It's basic, but folks are blown away. Newspapers call it the dawn of machine psychology. Then the hype bubble pops. Turns out, teaching logic is one thing. Teaching understanding is another. Computers can't handle the messy, fuzzy stuff humans do naturally. By the early 70s, the money dries up, and the first AI winter hits. Research stalls. Everyone moves on. The late 70s bring a comeback. Japan launches a national AI program. The US jumps back in. Expert systems, basically digital rule books that help doctors or engineers solve problems, take over. For a minute, it looks like AI is winning again. But when hardware costs skyrocket and systems fail outside the lab, the second AI winter hits. Same dream, same freeze. Then the 90s arrive and everything changes. Computers get faster. The internet starts booming. For the first time, AI is fuel, data, neural networks, algorithms modeled after the brain, start working again thanks to better processors, voice recognition, handwriting scanners, early translation. AI begins creeping into real life. 1997, big moment. IBM's Deep Blue faces world chess champ Garry Kasparov. 6 intense games later, the machine wins. That single victory blows people's minds. If a computer can outthink the best human strategist alive, what's next? Behind the headlines, researchers are building tools that will soon power everything. Search engines, maps, online stores. AI isn't flashy yet, but it's learning faster than anyone realizes. For the first time, the dream feels reachable. By 2000, artificial intelligence is no longer a sci-fi concept. It's the invisible engine starting to hum beneath the surface of the web. 50 years after Turing asked his question, machines still aren't thinking like us, but they're definitely thinking with us. The first era of AI was all about possibility. The next one, it's about power. Because once the world goes online, AI doesn't just learn, it evolves. When the 2000s hit, everything went online. Google, YouTube, Facebook. The web was exploding, and data was pouring in faster than anyone could count. That flood of information would become the fuel AI had been starving for. For the first time, machines could actually learn from the real world. Every search, every click, every uploaded selfie, all of it was training data. AI wasn't running on theory anymore. It was running on human behavior. That's when machine learning stopped being an academic buzzword and became the real deal. Instead of coding rules by hand, engineers let algorithms figure things out by example. The more data they saw, the smarter they got. Google wasn't just indexing websites. It was mapping human curiosity. Each search told the system a little more about what people wanted. By 2004, its algorithms could predict trends before the news cycle caught up. Every ad click, every query. It was like giving AI night vision into the human mind. Meanwhile, social media was blowing up. Facebook learned who your friends were. YouTube learned what you like to watch. Recommendation engines became the silent geniuses behind every feed. AI wasn't just analyzing, it was shaping behavior. Speech recognition took off too. Early systems were clunky, but by 2007, you could actually talk to your phone. It felt like magic, saying call mom and watching it happen. Behind the scenes, deep learning prototypes were already being tested to understand tone and intent. The term big data became a buzzword for a reason. The more storage got cheaper, the more data humans dumped online. Servers became gold mines for machine learning. And companies realized whoever controlled the data controlled the future. In 2006, Geoffrey Hinton and his students revived neural networks with smarter math and bigger training sets. They started teaching machines to recognize objects and photos, cats, cars, people, and it worked. Computer vision was officially born. AI had eyes now. That same year, Google bought YouTube for $1.65 billion. At first, people thought they'd overpaid. But Google saw what others missed. Video would become the next data stream, and AI would learn from every frame. Face detection, speech to text, recommendation models, all grew from that move. Then came the iPhone in 2007, and everything went mobile. Suddenly AI was in your pocket, learning from your photos, searches, and steps. By 2010, smartphone wasn't just a term, it was a lifestyle powered by algorithms. Startups popped up everywhere. If you could feed an algorithm enough data, it could forecast markets, translate languages, even spot diseases. AI stopped being a research project. It became an industry. By 2010, AI was officially out of the lab and into real life. It could see, hear, and predict, not perfectly, but well enough to change business forever. The foundation for the next decade's explosion was locked in. The 2000s gave AI its sight and its senses. But the 2010s? That's when it learned to think deep. By 2010, AI wasn't some lab experiment anymore. It was everywhere. In your phone, your car, your camera, your news feed. It wasn't just following orders now. It was learning on its own. This was a decade AI grew up and got serious power. The 2000s gave AI its sight and its senses. But the 2010s? That's when it learned to think deep. 2012, University of Toronto. A neural network called AlexNet wins an image recognition contest by a mile. It can spot cats, cars, and faces with accuracy no one thought possible. The world woke up to deep learning. Basically, you stack layers of neural nets, feed them massive data, and let them teach themselves. It worked so well it shocked even the creators. Google, Facebook, and Amazon went all in. They hired every AI PhD they could find. These companies weren't just using AI, they were becoming AI. Search results, recommendations, ads, and voice assistants, all run by learning machines. Hey Siri, okay Google, Alexa. By the mid-2010s, talking to machines was normal. Speech recognition finally worked because deep learning models could decode accent and context. Millions of tiny audio clips trained those AIs to understand human chaos. 2014, Google buys DeepMind, a small London startup with a massive dream. Teach machines how to learn anything. 2 years later, AlphaGo beats Lee Sedol, the world's best Go player. That game had more possible moves than atoms in the universe. When AlphaGo won, it wasn't just strategy, it was creativity. Machines had started to improvise. After that, every industry wanted in. Healthcare used AI to spot cancer in scans. Finance used it to predict markets. Cars learned to drive themselves. AI became the new electricity, invisible but everywhere. Your phone's camera autofocus? AI. Netflix suggesting what to watch? AI. Spam filters, traffic apps, smart speakers, all driven by machine learning. AI was no longer a feature, it was a foundation. But with great data comes great responsibility. By 2018, people started noticing how much tech companies knew about them. Cambridge Analytica, privacy breaches, surveillance concerns. AI was getting bad press. Government stepped in, and the world realized data was a new oil, and everyone was leaking. Researchers and activists pushed for ethical AI. Bias, fairness, transparency, new buzzwords for old problems. Tech companies built ethics teams, some real, some PR. The conversation shifted from what can AI do to what should it do? As AI started writing reports and driving trucks, people got nervous. Would it take jobs? Change society? Economists argued about it. But one thing was clear, AI was here to stay. By 2020, AI was everywhere, a trillion-dollar force driving the global economy. What started as math equations in the 50s was now running the planet's information systems. But the next chapter would change everything again, because this time, AI wouldn't just learn from us. It would start to talk back. The 2010s made AI powerful. The 2020s would make it personal. The 2020s started with chaos, a global pandemic, lockdowns, and a planet that suddenly had to live online. In that moment, AI went from a tech buzzword to the backbone of modern life. If you searched, worked, studied, or streamed, you were using it. And just when the world needed answers, AI got smarter than ever before. When COVID hit, people stayed home, but the internet never slept. Google Classroom, Zoom, YouTube, Meet, all powered by AI that managed bandwidth, translated speech, and suggested what to watch next. AI became invisible infrastructure. It kept society running when everything else stopped. While most companies panicked, Google stayed calm under Sundar Pichai's leadership. Larry Page and Sergey Brin had stepped back. But their creation was stronger than ever. Behind closed doors, teams were working on something new. Not search, not ad, but intelligence itself. Late 2022, OpenAI drops ChatGPT, and the internet loses its mind. For the first time, people could have full conversations with a machine that asterisk understood. Students, creators, coders, everyone jumped in. Google saw it too, and for the first time in decades, they weren't leading. A code red went out, a full-blown AI emergency. Google fired back with Bard, powered by its massive Lambda model. The launch was rocky, a few factual errors, a big stock dip, but they didn't quit. By 2024, Bard had evolved into Gemini, faster, smarter, and deeply integrated across Google's ecosystem. This wasn't just a chatbot. It was a full-blown AI assistant that could think, code, and create. Meanwhile, AI was exploding everywhere. Artists used models like Mid-Journey and Stable Diffusion to create visuals that once took hours. Musicians trained AIs to mimic their style. Coders built apps using natural language instead of syntax. It was a creative revolution. AI wasn't replacing imagination, it was amplifying it. But every revolution comes with fallout. Deepfakes, job automation, misinformation, all powered by the same tech that made our lives easier. Governments scrambled to keep up. Europe passed new AI laws. The US held hearings. For the first time, the question wasn't can we build it? It was should we? Inside Google, researchers wrestled with responsibility. Don't be evil had turned into do the right thing. But what was right anymore? AI ethicists warn about bias, inequality, and the danger of machines making moral calls. The people who built these systems were realizing they weren't just coding software. They were shaping society. By 2025, AI wasn't just a tool, it was a partner. Search became conversational. Phones anticipated your needs before you asked. Your car drove itself. Your fridge ordered groceries. Your house understood your voice. You didn't have to Google things anymore. You just asked and AI handled it. It was no longer on your computer. It was your computer. Big players fought for dominance. OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. It wasn't about who had the best gadget anymore. It was about who had the smartest mind. AI had become the new battleground, the final frontier of human innovation. So where does that leave us? From Alan Turing's question in 1950 to Gemini's neural networks in 2025. We've gone from wondering if machines can think to how much they should. AI has made life easier, faster, and more creative, but also more complicated. It's a mirror of humanity, smart, curious, flawed, and evolving. As we head toward 2030, one truth stands: AI isn't done changing. And neither are we. From backroom labs to billion-dollar data centers, from clunky checkers programs to sentient chatbots. This is a story of how humans taught machines to think. And maybe, just maybe, what we've really built is a reflection of ourselves.